We have Mehdi Hasan hosting a wonderful interview with a top UN official in pertinence to Gaza and the ongoing genocide that Israel is carrying out, and he had some rather eye-opening things to say, so I've pulled a few clips from this for us to look over as we are gearing up in election mode, so I'm focusing more and more on that, but I do want people to remember that these horrendous actions in the Middle East are still ongoing every single day.
When you speak to your staff on the ground in Gaza, the ones who haven't been killed, both Palestinian and non-Palestinian, what do they tell you about what life is like right now for them in Gaza at UNRWA locations that are supposedly protected?
But already the last time I went, which was in January, I was struck on how people were just living in a pilot automatic mode, and also the absence of light in their eyes. It seems the situation has gone even much worse, though it was difficult to comprehend that it could get worse. And today, when I talk to my staff, they are saying that in reality, people today are so resignated that they are just waiting for their turn to be killed in the Gaza Strip. And this is absolutely heartbreaking because people have lost faith of a possible better future.
And this just might be the worst part of it all. PTSD is running rampant through Gaza. Over half the population is suffering from it. I mean, the majority of people, right? Like 70–80%. And lasting mental conditions like PTSD are one of the barriers for committing genocide. At this point, with so much darkness surrounding them, it's hard for many Palestinians to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. The death toll is over 40,000. Women and children are dying every single day. Sickness is ravaging everyone. Over 200 historic buildings have been destroyed, all hospitals destroyed, over 500 schools and mosques destroyed. Their culture and kind is being erased right in front of their face as America, the leader of the free world in some ways, just shrugs its shoulders and says, we have to stand by Israel. I mean, it's kind of sickening.
You say hunger has been artificially created. At the start of this interview, you said Israel has made Gaza unlivable. Is what we are seeing in Gaza then, in your view, a genocide?
Well, this will leave the ICC and the ICG to determine the qualification of what happened. But what I can say is that there have been unprecedented suffering inflicted to the population. As I said, this has been the war of all the superlative. Look at the number of people killed, the number of children killed, the level of displacement, constant displacement,
what
the
about
hunger,
war
the
crimes,
diseases.
Philip Lazzarini? If it's not genocide, do you agree that attacking UNRWA schools is a war crime?
I do believe we need an investigation, and indeed it would constitute as a war crime.
And I played this clip because I want to speak on one of the oddest defenses of this whole situation that I typically hear. Oh, it's war. Oh, it's just war. Things like this happen in war. What we're talking about are war crimes. There has to be a war for war crimes to be committed. No one is contesting that it's not a war, even though, I mean, with the one-sided nature of this conflict, it's hard to consider it a war in the common use of the word, you know, where two sides are equally battling. But that would be the qualification here. And within this war, massive atrocities and I believe genocide is happening. It's not disqualifying of war crimes to say, well, it's war. That's kind of a silly defense. War predicates a war crime.
The UN Secretary General released a statement last week on the polio outbreak in Gaza that threatens the lives, the health of more than 640,000 children under the age of 10 there. He said that without a ceasefire, at least a pause in the fighting, a successful vaccination campaign is impossible. How do you vaccinate 600,000 children while Israeli bombs are falling?
Well, as the Secretary General said, we need a humanitarian pause. We need a vaccination, a polio pause, to make sure that we can cover all the children under the age of 10. Otherwise, as you said, it will be extraordinarily challenging to reach them out, and that would also mean to take the risk to fail our campaign, and that would be a disaster, not only for the people in Gaza, but as you know, this is a communicable disease which doesn't know any border, and could also spread in the entire region, including in Israel.
And you've got to think, with the lack of medical supplies, with starvation setting in, these kinds of diseases are even more dangerous than they normally are. Almost 700,000 kids are threatened by a polio outbreak in need of vaccines, and Israel shows no willingness to let up or let a ceasefire happen, let these vaccines in. They still block many UNRWA officials and aid from getting into Gaza. Medical supplies are still being blocked from getting in, and these things are being directly enabled, outbreaks of this kind, by Israeli actions. It's sick and disgusting, and I just wanted to spend some time highlighting the fact that the killings are still going on. Israel just launched an attack into the West Bank, where Hamas isn't even in power. Sickness is ravaging the population in the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank alike. They're getting less than a can of beans worth of calories a day. In the safe zones they're being pushed into, there is one toilet for every 4,000 Palestinians. The conditions are less than humane. They are doing apartheid and genocide, and something has to bring an end to it all before it all brings an end to the Palestinians. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.